Does anyone else feel that mentioning stock photography in the company of other photographers kind of feels like saying a four-letter word in polite company? It's often portrayed in kind of an icky, get-rich-quick, passive income kind of way, and I think that can really put a lot of people off doing it. So today I wanted to share with you why I love it so much and why I think you should try it too. And the beauty of this is that you can do it at any level of your photography journey, which I think is amazing. Plus I want to share with you my sales for month 3 and my strategy for month 4. So let's get into it. Hey guys, great to see you again, and if YouTube's just introducing us, my name's Tracy from Red and Wolf Photography, and I'm doing these from the ground up monthly stock reports where I'm taking you guys along on my journey and sharing all the weird and wonderful parts of becoming a stock photographer. The point of these monthly updates is that I've really loved watching other stock photographers do their monthly reports and seeing their behind the scenes. It's been really helpful and motivating, and I wanted to both join in that conversation but also take you guys along with me, kind of like a Hansel and Gretel style breadcrumb trail, if you will. Now for reference, today is March 30th and I'm doing my 3rd stock photography report, which is for March 2024. I'm a little ahead of my normal posting schedule because I've got some exciting stuff I want to record in April and I'm trying to get a jump on the month. Also today I'm discussing why I personally love stock photography and why I think you guys could too. A quick note on editorial content that you should know about as a new contributor, and also part of your consideration process when you're thinking about which stock photography agencies that you're looking at joining. I'm also talking about my sales for March, including my very first sale on one of the other stock agencies, and my goals for April, including some strategies I'm going to try and use to hopefully get more sales each month. Timestamps are below if you want to jump around to the bits of information that you want. Otherwise, grab a coffee and let's get into it. One of the things I love about catching up with other photographers is the ability to just chat about all things photography related. But on YouTube, I find that so many people are just like, get to the point, that we miss out on actual just discussion points. Not everyone has access to other photographers to just chat and have coffee with. And I really want my channel to be both informative, but also like, hey, I'll be your new photography bestie. Let's do coffee and talk about all things photography. It might not be great for the YouTube algorithm, but I think it's really important to discuss topics other than just how your camera works. So today's coffee chat is that I was thinking recently that in some circles, mentioning stock photography is a little bit like saying a 4-letter word in polite company. And it made me wonder, but why? I know that when I was searching up about stock photography on YouTube, I came across quite a few videos that were like, I'm gonna post stock images for the next month and see if I can make some passive income. It kind of made it feel cheap to me, for lack of a better word. As a photographer that's invested thousands of dollars into equipment, not to mention education, spending the time watching the YouTubes, practicing, it just feels like someone with a cell phone or a point and click thinks that they can just walk in and it's easy money. But then I thought, perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps it is. Maybe I'm the one making this difficult and becoming arrogant about it because I've spent so much money and time invested into this that I want it to be more exclusive. And even though I've worked on my photography, some people have a natural eye for it. So could it simply be that those of us that have worked for it are a little bit jealous of those with a natural eye for it and a natural talent for it? In the end, I decided that actually it doesn't matter what other people think because that's robbing me of time from becoming my best self. So I simply asked myself, why do I like stock photography and why would I recommend it to others? Well, just like in the case with somebody with a cell phone, there's a really low barrier to entry if you want to get started. So in other words, even if you're fairly new to it, it's a great starting point to sell your images and get better at your craft. And that's actually why I love it. It challenges me as a photographer to do my best work and come up with ideas to fit in like with the monthly trend reports. And it makes me think outside of what I would normally want to photograph. So it's kind of like being at school, except instead of your exam, the question is, will you be accepted? And then ultimately, will your images sell? And if not, how do I get better? Also, as someone on the other side of these stock photos and videos, I've used stock for blogs I've written, posts I've done for clients, social media, extra footage for YouTube, and even though I didn't post those ones, it still looked really cool and it made the process so much easier. So when you think about yourself as the first half of this process and think about how you're making someone else's job on the other side of this better, it's kind of an exciting process. I love it when I find a great photo for social media for one of my clients that I'm not able to provide them myself. And my client loves it too. And even though I didn't take it, I'm still stoked that I found something that my client likes. So dopamine high fives all around. And the last thing I love about stock photography is that as a homeschooling mum, an introvert, and somebody that gets drained being around lots of other people, stock photography gives me the opportunity to do something I love, earn some money from it, and do it essentially on my own. I'm not waiting for bookings and getting nervous and getting desperate. I'm just doing it on my own time at my own pace. Now, I'm sure there's lots of other great reasons, but that's what I've started with. And truthfully, I could be here all day talking about the pros of why I love stock photography. But let's get on with the rest of the video so it's not an hour long. Now, I wanted to put in just a quick note here. Adobe Stock isn't currently accepting editorial content, and anything vaguely editorial like a car show or a parade or something like that would require property or people releases. I don't think that's the right word. I'll put the right word below when I think about it. And anything with a logo, I'm just not even bothering to submit to Adobe. Those 11 images that I was talking about in last month's stock report were just taking up space. I actually went up to 13 because I thought I'd try a couple more and see if that might work, but no, they were still sitting there as well. So I went in and just deleted all of them, so I've got my 51 spots left again. The interesting thing is that some of the ones that Adobe haven't taken have actually sold on Shutterstock. So I think that's a really interesting insight, that just because one agency won't take your images doesn't mean that they may not sell on another. So Adobe just has the smallest percentage of my portfolio right now, and I think it's a great example of why you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. I set my targets based on what I can control, which in this case is uploads, because I can't control what does and what doesn't get accepted at the individual agencies. As I've said in the past, I use a good, better, best system. So depending on how busy each month is, I can just adjust accordingly. This month, I hit good on my stock targets, which was 200 images uploaded. This is the end of all of the photos that I've had on my hard drive. So next month, I actually have to go out and take photos specifically for the purpose of uploading them, which I'm actually really looking forward to. Now, I tried to film another YouTube, but after 4 attempts and never quite nailing it, I decided to just put it aside. But I say this because that was easily 40 to 60 hours that I put into that. So I can see that moving forward, it's really going to be a juggling act to balance both photography and YouTube. But to me, it's worth it. I've actually got a bunch of YouTubes planned on both stock photography and on starting YouTube, and I'm super excited to get into them. So it's going to be a really busy couple of months. April's targets are as follows. Good is going to be 300, better is going to be 350, and best is going to be 400 uploads, which is actually quite a reach because that's almost 100 images that I need to put up just to reach my good target. But I'm here to keep stretching myself. Now, as for strategy, I've heard of 2 distinct strategies recently, both of which are resulting in a livable wage for these creators. Creator number 1 does 2 or 3 photos or videos for each concept and then uploads daily. Creator number 2 takes multiple images per concept, like think hundreds, and then uploads them weekly in batches of like 20 or 50. The common denominator between both is the regular uploads. Both of them swear that by regularly uploading, that the algorithm favors them and they're actually pushed more through the fresh content, ultimately resulting in more sales. So this month, I think I'm going to try combining both of those. While I think that uploading hundreds of similar images and sort of taking over a niche might be an interesting sales strategy, I also see the point of creator number 1 that the more that you create in the same genre, you're almost kind of cannibalizing your own sales, kind of by being your own competition. So the sweet spot in the center that I'm going to be aiming for is creating sets with the idea of multiple angles or slightly different stories but with the same subject. I'm still going to put up photos of other random things that I might take, like events that I go to, etc. But it saves massively on time in every aspect when you can bulk, create, edit, upload, keyword, etc. And here's the thing, even if you only sell 1 from every set, let's say you've got 1 that's really popular and that's the one that sells from every set, you have a dozen other images that are pointing to that one image. So those other dozen images are bringing more eyeballs to the one that will constantly sell. And moving into April, if I can include video with that, because I'm going to start dabbling in video as well, I'll definitely be including that at the same time. My goal is going to be 2 sets per week of about a dozen images and a couple of videos. I'm not going to submit stuff that I don't think is good enough just to make up the numbers, but if I can get 12 solid images from one shoot, I'm definitely going to be uploading them. So I'll see how this strategy goes, and obviously I'll report back to you guys when I've figured out whether it works for me or not. And here's part of it too. Stock photography and YouTube are part of a much bigger growth and testing strategy for me this year. I want to improve my photography and improve my photography career this year. So this plan fits in really well with me to use my time as strategically and efficiently as I possibly can. Truthfully, I don't have a lot of time to dedicate to just one area. And so I want to find the most streamlined track that I can and share that with you guys. So in the future, I'm actually going to be releasing some PDFs to help with the processes that I use, because I also nerd out on structures and procedures and list building and things like that. So stay tuned for those. 2 exciting things happened this month. 1, I got my first sale on Adobe. Yay! I made 1 sale and I earned 25 cents. And if you've watched my other videos, you'll know that this brings me a truly disproportionate amount of joy, because it means that I'm making progress, which leads me on to number 2. I made 3 sales on Shutterstock this month. 1 for 57 cents, 1 for 10 cents, and 1 for $1.50. So that's a total of US dollars, $2.17, which I'm pretty sure translated into New Zealand dollars is like $1 million, almost. That would be useful. So that's pretty cool. That's 4 sales for me this month, which is the biggest month I've personally ever had. And to somebody else, that might be like, dumb. But to me, it makes me excited to see what I'm gonna do next, what's gonna come next month. And truthfully, these first 200 images are just ones that I took off my hard drive. I wasn't really even trying. So I'm really excited to see how the next couple of months go when I'm actively taking photos specifically for the purpose of stock photography. Now, this is a monthly series, so as the saying goes, subscribe if you wanna learn alongside me and or come along on this journey with me. Click the notification bell if you're the kind of person that needs to know things first. And if you've got to the end of this video, if you could please give it a thumbs up, that just lets the YouTube algorithm know to share it out to a few more people. And on a serious note, if you've got any questions about stock photography or anything that you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comments. There is always room in the stock photography landscape for more photographers, and if I can help you on your journey, please let me know in the comments.